We are starting to get into a very volatile time in the Bitcoin markets. Obviously, the ETF news, we'll get into that, what could potentially happen this coming week, is making the markets frothy, jumping straight into the time chain. Block height 816,033, exchange USD per BTC 36,365, 36365. Sats per USD 2,750. November 10 local time 5:51 a.m. Last block reward 8.61. That's the subsidy plus the fees. Well done. It's getting a little bit expensive out there. Let's jump straight into Peter Schiff. Always, he couldn't time it perfect. Even Walker's saying, Peter, you are way too predictable. Gives great joy to the Bitcoin community. So Peter Schiff, Bitcoin is approaching 38K as speculators continue to front run a new Bitcoin ETF. However, once the ETF is launched, all of the speculators will have already bought. So when those buyers sell to take profits, there won't be many left to buy the ETF. Get ready for a crash. Definitely disagree with him on that one. Will it be buy the rumors, sell the news? Potentially. There could be a little bit of a pullback long term. Definitely very bullish. If you are there in the chat, it's not coming up today on my dashboard, but drop us a thumbs up if you are getting value. What Peter Schiff has to say, it's funny. You'd think he'd be a Bitcoiner by now. Definitely he understands it. He understands a hard form of money. Obviously he's a gold bug and his business is with gold, so maybe that's part of his marketing. Each to their own. Maybe it is, I don't know. I just do not know or understand why someone who's as intelligent as Peter Schiff has not come over to the right side. Couple of things. Stephen Lubka is retweeting Elon Musk there. He is only 1 or 2 steps away from tweeting about Bitcoin again. Make no mistake, it's coming. Elon Musk, best economist ever. I do not think it is an exaggeration to say history is largely a history of inflation. Usually inflation engineered by governments for the gains of governments. So with Elon Musk jumping in with those words, we'll get into another article about Elon Musk as well. What he said in regards to not launching a crypto token, I think they've interpreted the wrong way and probably more in line with Stephen Lubka's post here. James Safar, new research note from me today. We still believe 90% chance by Jan 10 for a spot Bitcoin ETF for the approvals. But if it comes earlier, we are entering a window where a wave of approval orders for all the current applications could occur. Obviously, could occur. Nothing's guaranteed. 90% chance Jan 10. And these Bloomberg analysts there. Bitcoin Chris posted this. You know what this means. Bitcoin and USDT, $1 million was minted at the Tether Treasury. It's interesting times. We are getting into that volatile time. Volatility is not a bad thing. It's just a wild thing. Obviously not financial advice, but just stack and chill, or you do you, whatever it is. If you are looking for another read, your next read, it's a pretty good book. If you've been here for a while, the Bitcoin Standard is a really good book, and Bitcoin Evangelism as well, if you haven't read it there, if you're looking for a little bit more information. But when it's volatile, hold on, relax, chill, have a plan. It's all good. We'll get into a little bit of this volatility because it has moved a lot in the last 24 hours. And we're going to see $10,000, $20,000 candles coming up, in my opinion. So Bitcoin briefly tops 37,000 amid market optimism for pending spot ETF approvals. The price of Bitcoin has surpassed 37,000 for the first time since May 2022. Just to see it above 35,000 and above 35,000 convincingly for a long time is such a good sign. So moving towards the $37,000, $38,000 mark we'll get into is really good for where we are in the markets right now. Will it be volatile? Yes. Is it going to come back down? Most likely, I'd expect it. But I wouldn't be hoping on it if you are trying to get cheap sats. Those days are quickly leaving us if they haven't already. Briefly surpassed 37 mark for the first time in 18 months as the broader market reflect optimism over the pending approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs in the US. So a couple of things here. Bitcoin's most recent price surge has been attributed I'll just get rid of that cursor there. Bitcoin's most recent price surge has been attributed to the potential approval of 12 separate spot Bitcoin ETFs over the next week, according to Bloomberg ETF analysts. That's the tweet we just got into with James and Eric. The US SEC has a window until November 17 to approve a number of high-profile offerings from prominent US fund managers. But wait, there's more. While there is much fanfare over the potential approval of these highly anticipated Bitcoin products, both analysts have also noted that there could be a lag time of a month or more before these offerings actually launch. That'd be interesting. Obviously, it gives them a little bit more time to seed those ETFs, and especially if they've got the approval there. It'll be a wild time. And if you're here now, like the people that are here now holding Bitcoin, it's such a small amount of people. The ETF really will open it up to a huge, like a larger audience and to a mainstream audience. Will open it up to the majority of high net worth individuals. So meanwhile, Grayscale, the largest crypto asset manager in the US, has also reportedly engaged the SEC directly to convert its Grayscale Bitcoin Trust to a spot Bitcoin ETF. The US is yet to see a spot Bitcoin ETF approved, which would allow investors to gain indirect exposure to a financial product that is physically backed by Bitcoin. Definitely at the end of the day, hold your own Bitcoin. Like, there's no reason not to, not your keys, not your coins. Please do your best to be able to secure your generational wealth. If you've made it this far, well done, especially if you manage to get to your stacking goal and surpass it, even if it's just by 0.0001. Well done to everyone who has achieved their goals. Simply Bitcoin posting this video, absolutely fantastic. Fighting words. I will play most of it. I think it is worth listening to. Vivek Ramaswamy is definitely pro-Bitcoin, talks a lot about Bitcoin. We'll play the video. I can't do it justice. I'll rewind and go.
Swami, let me turn to you. Please make your case. Why should you be the nominee and not the former president?
I think there's something deeper going on in the Republican Party here, and I am upset about what happened last night. We've become a party of losers at the end of the day. There's a cancer in the Republican establishment. Let's speak the truth. I mean, since Ronna McDaniel took over as chairwoman of the RNC in 2017, we have lost 2018, 2020, 2022, no red wave that never came. We got trounced last night in 2023. And I think that we have to have accountability in our party. For that matter, Ron, if you want to come on stage tonight, you want to look the GOP voters in the eye and tell them you resign, I will yield my time to you. And frankly, look, the people there cheering for losers.
Really, I have no idea what's going on. It's on the other side of the world, me here being in Australia, but to be able to call out a fellow, not councilman, but statesman, that's absolutely incredible. And then what he says next, I believe all Bitcoiners are going to agree with.
In the Republican Party. Think about who's moderating this debate. This should be...
Get ready for it. This is pretty full on for a presidential candidate to be saying on CNBC or NBC.
Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk. Republican Party. Think about who's moderating this debate. This should be Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk. We'd have 10 times the viewership, asking questions that GOP primary voters actually care about and bringing more people into our party. You think the Democrats, and we've got Kristen Welker here, do you think the Democrats would actually hire Greg Gutfeld to host a Democratic debate?
It's pretty full on, hey? On mainstream media, calling out mainstream media, it's absolutely awesome. I think that's probably going to prevent him from getting in there. We'll see. He has obviously got the platform as well with the new media. Now, Benjamin Cowan, very interesting take here. Obviously, the rest of the market is frothy and they're very excited. There's a lot of FOMO in the market. Benjamin Cowan's probably taken the opposite side of the argument here. And whether Bitcoin's up, down, or sideways, it is good to see both sides. So we'll get into it. Fed rate cuts may not be bullish for Bitcoin, says crypto analyst Benjamin Cowan. A lot of people agree with him. He's got a huge following, and then a couple of people very much disagree. In a new video update, crypto trader Benjamin Cowan tells us 787,000 YT subscribers that historical patterns suggest a Fed rate cut would result in a downward trend for both S&P 500 and Bitcoin, with the S&P 500 going higher as rates were going higher between 2016 to 18. So too Bitcoin was going higher as rates were going higher. Now, what you'll notice last cycle is that at December 2018, Bitcoin bottom, it actually corresponds to the Fed pausing rates. It corresponds to a pause, and the top that came in 2019 occurred before the first rate cut. So the first rate cut was in July 2019. You can see it right here. So this cut, you can see that Bitcoin topped out before the first rate cut. And then he goes on to say, so when rate cuts start, it doesn't tend to translate to an immediately bullish market, because oftentimes the reason the Fed is cutting rates is because they're trying to compensate for perhaps keeping rates tight for too long, which they've been doing, and now the market is screaming for help. Normally, the first few rate cuts that the Fed does are not enough to turn the economy around, and again, the market will tend to bottom out close to the last rate cut. So if we go over to CME Group, the next FOMC meeting, 33 days, 22 hours and 57 minutes, 90% chance that they stay here. They're not giving any credence to a drop. So we'll see what happens. Most people are gunning for a pause in Australia. Earlier this week, they did raise by 25 basis points. Now, this is what I was talking about with Elon Musk here. None of my companies will issue crypto tokens. Elon Musk has stated that none of his companies will issue a crypto token, a move that suggests Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and XAI won't be issuing one anytime soon. I think this is good that he's putting them out here. Obviously, Elon Musk knows the difference between Bitcoin and crypto, but a lot of people are speculating that this is that he won't be adopting Bitcoin anytime soon. Obviously, we've got Stephen Lubka on the other side of the argument saying it's moments away. I'm probably on the camp it's moments away, but a couple of things I want to bring your attention to. It appears X, Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and XAI won't be issuing their own crypto token anytime soon. Elon has declared that none of his companies will be launching the crypto token, in a move that underscores a shift in the tech industry's attitude towards competing with Bitcoin as a digital asset. So Silicon Valley is starting to wake up to the fact that it's Bitcoin and not crypto. This announcement is particularly noteworthy in light of X, formerly Twitter, which recently announced its intention to transform into a platform for financial services. Previously, there had been speculation that Musk might integrate Dogecoin. Hopefully he doesn't, and obviously he still could. He enjoys it. I think he loves just playing that Dogecoin meme. Just because he said he won't be creating one doesn't mean he cannot implement one. Cryptocurrency is vocally supported in the past into his company's operations. Musk's decision not to launch a crypto token carries significance, as it suggests the concept of issuing worthless crypto is losing favor among prominent Silicon Valley tech entrepreneurs. Absolutely. The shift in sentiment could be attributed to the increasingly regulatory scrutiny and uncertainty surrounding the cryptocurrency industry, or simply the failures over the last decade for any crypto token to differentiate from Bitcoin. Obviously, it's Bitcoin only. Hopefully, we've gotten to that point by now. There is no second best. If you want to be a degen, go ahead and do it. If you are just looking for a Bitcoin-only exchange, though, the AMBRAP, that's what I use here in Australia or the US. It's probably a pretty good one for you. Link below. Otherwise, just Bitcoin only, and then you're not subject. Where you've got less risk is probably the biggest thing. You want to remove the risk because there's less chance especially if it's made by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners, like no rehypothecation, and they're not trading against you or selling you Bitcoin to be able to prop up their fake bags, their fake tokens. We have seen it a lot. Anyway, a couple of things. I've retweeted this post. It's a little bit long, so I won't get into it, but just saying a couple of things that you should do this bull market, a bit of advice for you, but just the first line, don't tell anyone your net worth or how much crypto you own. I repeat, don't do it. Goes into a lot deeper reasons why not to. Really good at Sean Clark 911. This has been reposted there for you. So Bitcoin, last 24 hours, we'll do a quick refresh. 36,314 with a low of 35,459 and a high of 37,935. 2.5 grand in 24 hours. Been talking about $10,000, $20,000 candles. Make no mistake, they are coming. So just a matter of if, not when, in my opinion. It's going to start getting wild. The amount that the market cap moved yesterday, absolutely phenomenal. And if we zoom out, so this is the last 24 hours, but just look at the trend. Last 7 days, last 14 days, 30 days, 90 days, 180 days. It's looking good. And even if we go over the last year, when in doubt, zoom out. The trend is your friend long term. Like if you bought up here, you're panicking. If you bought down here, there's still dips along the way, even if you bought this little bump and then look. So it's easier just to stack and chill, have a game plan. But look at the market cap, $1.42 trillion, up 1.8% the past 24 hours, probably down a tiny little bit. Maybe it's 1.41. Still at 1.42. Pretty miraculous, hey? Really, it's incredible. We're moving in the right direction, as the way it should be. Bitcoin, bright green. Ethereum, if you're a degen, you know why it's pumping. BlackRock is talking about doing a Bitcoin ETF. Well, they're not talking about it. Paperwork was filed, and that's why Bitcoin is pumping. Somebody French run that, so they knew that it was happening. Huge buy before the news happened. Then the news happened, went up, and then it's come back down. So it's going to be a little bit volatile. Very manipulated. FYI. Well, in my opinion, Bitcoin tops 37,000 for the first time since May 22 as short squeeze bumps priced amid the Bitcoin ETF optimism. So just why I bring this one up, over 62 million in Bitcoin shorts were liquidated in the past 24 hours, contributing to higher prices. Go ahead and trade the market. All I'd say is if you haven't traded before, be careful, and there is a price to pay of tuition. Leverage is not good, but you do you. Have fun with it. Just hate to see people lose, and they work so hard to be able to get their stack, to be able to get their Bitcoin, and then the market starts moving, and then they have to cover their shorts. Well, they're not really Bitcoiners if they're shorting Bitcoin anyway. Do what you want. Data shows just under 50 mil in liquidations occurred in 4 hours. A period during early Asian trading now is creating a short squeeze that drove Bitcoin prices up. Bitcoin surpassed 36,000 a few hours earlier for the first time in 18 months. It's got to really hurt when people are betting against the market and they need to buy the thing that they're believing will go down. Bitcoin has surged recently amid US regulatory approval. ETFs that hold Bitcoin, something some experts believe will lure a flood of investment money into the original cryptocurrency. In my opinion, it's about to get really hectic. I don't think we understand how bullish it's going to be. And saying that, don't get FOMO, just have a plan. And hopefully you're stacked as well as you possibly could. Those hopes increased Wednesday following a CoinDesk report that SEC Commission has opened talks with Grayscale Investments on the details of the company's application to convert its Bitcoin trust known as GBTC into Bitcoin ETF. When I was in San Fran Airport, GBTC had huge advertising. Simply Bitcoin also posted a picture of GBTC advertising at the airports. The marketing machine for Bitcoin, it's going up very quickly, and it's going to ramp up more and more and more as the higher prices will lead to higher prices. Just remember it is going to get volatile, but we want volatility in the short term so Bitcoin can get where it needs to be in the long term. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you in the next one. Hit subscribe. If we vibe, be blessed. Peace.